we're gonna call this episode "Doing It Ugly." FTP, Fear the Possessed. It started with a quote from the great Albert Einstein. I'm just getting notifications and I'm trying to block them out. The great
False,
Albert Einstein,
false
the
study.
quote is, the whole vision of Fear the Possessed Apparel started from a quote: great spirits will always encounter violent opposition from mediocre minds. Right? Society will misunderstand you, especially if you're very motivated or you have some great idea. And I heard that on a podcast today. You're considered a fucking maniac, or you're insane, or you're an outcast when you come up with these different ideas that go against the grain of society. But if you are successful in those endeavors, then you become a genius. Then you're the genius. Then you're the god. Then you're the person that changes the course of history. And we're looking to kind of do that through this brand with addiction and essentially finding your passion, because most people that suffer from addiction are tormented souls. And that's why we use drugs to cope with that. It's at least that's why I drank and did crack and meth and all kinds of stuff. I didn't realize at the time in my earlier years what I was doing, but I was escaping myself. And finding a lane in through passion, being possessed with ambition. For me, it's music and fitness and like self-development, and I just love it so much. And healing and like healing, right? I gotta attach this is through the thorns, like getting through just getting through the issues of the mind, and finding solace in growth. And like that, I'm just obsessed with finding more information. Why the ADHD, why the trauma, why the attachment, why the pain, and being possessed to fucking to just to learn. And that's what that's kind of the brand summed up, right?
Yeah, and I like the
Just fun
idea of,
and meeting people where they are too, right? Because quickly, I mean, I've done the AA program and other things like that. I've done the traditional programs for recovery, and my recovery's been slippy. It's been a slippery slope. We can get into that in a little bit, but I think it's with FTP. It's about it's about motivating and meeting people where they are in addiction. I don't think there's one way to do it.
yeah, and I like the idea behind, being possessed and taking something on with that level of intensity, I guess, like not just
Yeah,
being
level of
driven,
intensity
being possessed to, move forward, succeed, whatever it might be,
with ambition.
Yeah, yeah.
Because any great entrepreneur or artist, or any, like, you listen to enough entrepreneur or podcasts, or like just anyone like the Goggins, like that David Goggins, the guy's mental. Like he's literally possessed to just run until his fucking knees fall off. Or I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head, but let's just say like most people will talk. We'll get into this more as the podcast develops and everything else. But yeah, people that are just literally obsessed, staying up for hours and hours, late nights, early mornings, to just because they're fucking obsessed. Like, give me an example, Jaimen, of something you're fucking possessed about.
Yeah, well, I guess me personally, I mean, I'm a writer, so like I have been writing for years, and I mean like years and years, going back over 20 years.
You're
It's
really
something that
good.
I've been doing. It's always been there. There's other things that'll distract at times or whatever, but it's always there. I always come back to it, and it keeps going. Like it's, and the
What
more
are
you
some books
focus.
you've written? You got that really cool one that I bought. I haven't read it yet, to be honest, but Bird Droppings, and you got a new book coming out, right?
Yeah, I'll have a new book coming out this year called Of Ravens and Sturgeon.
What's
A
that
novel.
about? What's
It's
that about?
actually a novel based, it's a fictional story based around the real place of the Port Haney Wharf here in Maple Ridge.
Canada,
And
BC, British Columbia, Canada. That's where we're both from.
yeah, and kind of takes an angle of dealing with, the downtrodden, the down and outs, people dealing with recovery, depression, mental health issues, those sort of
Fuck yeah.
things, but those are the people in my neighborhood. So
But Jamin, you're that's really cool. And you're one that partakes. You smoke, you drink, you don't
I
do hard drugs, but you have some rules surrounding that, right? You want to talk about that? What are your rules surrounding because I'm let's talk about that. I'll get into my recovery.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
for
you,
sure.
he lights a cigarette. It's funny
Yeah.
because we've got me, Mr. Recovery, but we got Jaimen who's doing a lot of the graphic design. He reins my ideas in. He's helped me. FTP's been around for about a year. The first launch was really successful locally. But it's kind of ironic because he's got his what I would consider some habit, like smoking. That's a dirty habit, motherfucker.
You gave me the
We're
cue,
working
so
on him.
I lit a smoke.
We're gonna
Yeah.
work on Jamin. We'll
And
see if he can get him to stop smoking. But
and
anyway,
yes,
sorry.
yes,
Your
and
rules.
yeah, and I do drink. Like I drink beer. I drink beer most nights. But I'd set myself the really strict rule where I only drink after 7 p.m. And it's something that I've done for over a decade, and I don't break that rule. I don't day drink. If I'm gonna have a beer, I can at least wait till 7 o'clock at night. And if I can't do that, then I have a problem. And I've been able to do that and stay consistent with that without breaking that rule. So it's something that keeps me in check because I know that I drink and that I should probably cut it back, but a step in the right direction is at least limiting myself. And that's the way I've done it for a while, for quite a
And
while.
that and you live a very and that's the thing, like you may do these bad you may smoke, you smoke weed, you do and even when you're drunk, you're not a bad drunk. Like I remember when I was drinking with you, we would fucking cry laugh. That was one of the things that because there was a time when we didn't speak for a really long time and then we reconnected and it's been awesome. Like it's a pleasure. It's so cool to be working with you but I remember some of the old days we would just drink and howl and laugh so like just that guttural fucking cry laughing over stuff but you've never been a fucking shitty drunk.
Yeah, I try to, well, yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, but I try to keep things on a level and try to keep it enjoyable. And I don't know, drink to just, I don't know. It's not a depressing thing for me. It's something that helps with the way I think. It helps with my creativity. It's not something that works for everybody. I wouldn't say, hey, go drink some beers and work on a book. Like it doesn't work
And
for
I
me.
know people that I'm associated with and in groups that would completely disagree with you and say, oh, what you're da, 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 da. But I also think that each to their own. Like I literally can observe you and go, he lives a very humble life, and he doesn't even when this brand becomes one of the biggest brands in the world, and I start paying you big money, I still think you're going to be the guy that's like, no, I don't really need that thing, and I don't really want that thing. I'm just happy smoking my cigarettes and writing my books. That's just who you are.
Yeah, yeah. I like to keep it simple. It's, less to worry about. So
Yeah, you hold down a job, you hold down your thing, you do what you do, and you're happy with that.
juggle my free time so that I can use it effectively, for sure.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And so that's really what I love about that part of your personality and how it relates to FTP. Fear the Possessed is just like we meet you where you are. I'd like to see you quit smoking one day for sure, but everything else like and whatever. But those rules are great, man. Those are good rules.
Well, yeah, and I stay motivated on projects, like always. That's one of the ways that I'm possessed. Like I always have some sort of project on the go. So when started talking about Fear the Possessed and this whole idea, I mean,
Which stemmed from a fucking band breakup. That's another thing that's really cool about this fucking band is worked with I don't know where Fear the Possessed name came from to this day. I don't remember. Um, but it happened, it manifested, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, Fear the Possessed. And then I was with that. I'm not going to get into dirty details, it's unprofessional. Okay, but we will say that there was a band of dudes I joined, some guy, and I was out of the music scene. I've been in a lot of different bands, and it's not easy, right? Like I've had bands, I played drums, I've been, and then there was one band I was in. We'll talk as Warborn. I'm in Warborn now, but I was with them years ago. I was a struggling alcoholic, many different problems. Band broke up. I went out there trying to find other bands, but then there was one more recently, I believe about 2 years ago. Okay, I don't want to digress too much. I think it was about 2 years ago, Jaimen, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, that's about right.
And got together with this band. I was sober. I was working real hard, and it was just still a clash with this one guy. And I brought up the name. I let them have my. I was gonna say, here's my name, and then I brought up a T-shirt design with them. It was fucking awesome, awesome T-shirt design. T-shirt design. It's on our website right now. The Reagan T-shirt, the T-shirt that started it all. So this band was like, we can't use that shirt, whatever fucking reason. We're a local band, no, anyway. So it fell apart. The band broke up, but for the best. Again, another beautiful example of how devastated I was. I almost quit music, and then I showed. But Jaimen was the artist behind the shirt, and he's like, "I don't see the problem here. Let's just go with this shirt." And on the back it says, "The power of the riff compels you." And so it was born from a broken project and another disappointing failure. We created the shirt anyway, and this whole brand was born, and it kind of took off really fast, just with all the creative ideas.
Yeah, because I mean that it easily led into the other stuff that you were doing, like musically and whatnot, and then with Slay the Day and
Oh
Keep
yeah,
the
the Slay
PMA.
the Day, which
So
I heard that. Let me be honest with the Slay the Day thing. Everyone thinks that I came up with it because I use it so much, but it came from Jamie Jasta, from his pod. It's his closing statement. My closing statement in a podcast now is, or whenever I'm making my videos, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, is keeping it underscore metal. That's Instagram, and then Garrett Keeping on Facebook, and then of course Fear the Possessed Apparel, Fear the Possessed on all platforms, Fear the Possessed Apparel on Instagram. Anyway, the I like to say slay the day. It's like, well, I like to say grind the blade, catch the fire, keep the PMA, and slay the day. There's always some sort of closing statement you'll use. But anyway, Jamie's is what does he say every time? Drink your coffee, he's like, drink your coffee, listen to death metal, and do your push-ups. And then he throws in Slay the Day. But anyway, I thought Slay the Day was great. I was always using it on posts, and people thought I came up with it, and we just turned it into a fucking t-shirt. I
well,
mean,
it's
all great ideas stem from someone else's great idea. Like, whatever.
mm, well, it fits what you're doing. It kind of fits what's going on with Fear the Possessed, and
It is
yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
had to be honest there so people could, but that's fine. I mean, he never, um, but yeah,
So
so it's pretty cool that like it just sort of stemmed from an unfortunate turn of events, and I almost quit music, and then Warborn reformed, um, and now we got Fear the Possessed band too. Like we're literally. So I'm writing an album with Warborn right now. It's an incredible album. Working with Chris Dick. He's won a Juno Award. He was with the Ancients, and he's been sitting in as a writing with us. And it's been a lot of hard work, a lot of scrapping and fight art, like really high intense art. Like I'm hard. Working with artists is always difficult, especially in the writing process. But that's happening. And then of course FTP has a band as well. We have music on. We have 2 songs right now on this YouTube channel, that I did with Roger Mowat from Maple Ridge, and then another song that's about to come out with Shane, who is I'm forgetting what his oh shit. See, I should watch what I say because I forget what his recording. We'll figure it out. It'll all be
what we'll
released. We'll
do
talk
is
about it more.
look below, and we'll have the links to the
We'll have
people.
all the
And
links, and then
yeah.
Brennan Hiles is the new official guitar player. We've got an EP, 5-song EP coming out. It's just all kinds of things happening. As you can tell, I'm overwhelmed. I can't even keep up to it. But let's get into we have a couple notes here. So who we are, I mean, let it come to fruition. And like we said, this episode is called "Do It Ugly" because I am the master of what is that one?
Analysis paralysis.
Thank you. And you
Yes.
can tell, Jaimen, I've gifted the gab, and I've been really working toward. I'm on day 30 of 75 hard, and this episode is called "Do It Ugly" because just do it. Get the first episode out there. Get the first thing out there. Get the first T-shirt design, and you're
And
gonna
I
learn.
think this has honestly been a good introduction to this.
This one's been
Even
better.
just
Well, we're lying to you. We did one before, but I was so tired and it wasn't very good. And I was wearing sunglasses, and I was just like, "This is so far. This episode's way better." And then we're gonna keep it.
Oh yeah, yeah. This essentially sums up a good starting of just getting the discussion out there, right? Like people ask, like, what is Fear the Possessed? So this at least
I think
gives
we
a
did it
little bit
great.
of who is FTP, what is FTP, and well, this is a start to that sort of
Yeah.
discussion and putting our faces
There's
out there, right? So
Yeah, and there's one more note here. So a brief chat about my journey. So essentially, yes. So I've been in recovery. I've getting into my recovery now. I've been in and it's been a journey. Pardon me. I've been in recovery since 2015. I found that out. I figured that out the other day. And in that time, I've relapsed a lot. But in that, what is that? 7, 8 years, I've had about 5+ years of complete sobriety. Not lineal time. I'm one of those get 6 months, slip up for a bit, but it's getting less. It's gotten less. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, what you judge me all the fuck you want, Mr. AA or Mr. NA or Mr. whatever you say. Okay, I got ADHD. What's up? I'm a fucking attention deficit destroyer. But listen, every relapse has been less and less and less and less and less every time. I managed to get a year sober, and then I had a little slip up because just things were just really stressful. There's all kinds of excuses I can give you. But when I was in my 20s, there was a lot of drinking. I mean, let's just really quickly go back to when I was my first foster home. I was 7 years old. Okay, so I went to my. There's a whole history of issues, right? If you do enough research and look into it, you'll find out that we're products of our environment. My environment growing up was chaotic, so I developed all kinds of issues, attachment issues. There's childhood trauma, of course, from because I went into foster care. I was in like 20 different foster homes. My mom wasn't, I don't want to throw my mom under the bus, but obviously she had her own challenges because of my grandfather was in the war and came back an alcoholic. So it's just this lineage of shit that happens, and like again, I say we're products of our environment. So of course I developed ADHD growing up in the 80s and the 90s. People don't really know, like not like nowadays we have more self-awareness with mental health stuff. So back then they just go, "Whoa, this kid's just hyper and fucking crazy, and he's obviously pretty dumb, borderline retarded." Bleep that out. So it doesn't help, right? So it was just recently that I took at 40 years old that I've recently take taken a real hard, serious look at my ADHD. Because before that, it was like Gabor Mate, Johan Hari, Discipline, David Goggins, fucking Jocko Willings, fucking all these guys. Like, what's wrong? Like trauma and all these different things. So in 2015, my girlfriend broke up with me. And it just sort of started me on this path of like, what is wrong? Because I would have these neurological fucking like psycho attack, like horrible reactions to breakups because like my whole body would feel it. It was just horrible. And then after that, after I lost her, I think I was trying to I can't really remember, but it was definitely a journey to get sober. And then about 4 years ago, another girl broke up with me. I get fired a lot from these relationships. And another neurological like fucking reaction. It was just like, wow, like because that was my body chemistry. Like you're gonna die, like you're being disowned because of the fact that I have attachment issues and childhood trauma that reflects into you. There's just so much. And then 4 years ago, I really just went on a serious journey. After that breakup, I just went in. I just really had to evaluate myself and be like, what is this? Like, what this isn't normal. Like, and that was it. It was onto YouTube. So just like long story short, just alcohol, 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 on and off, on and off. And my battery's running low. But eventually it just led to this. So just trying to get better and going to meetings and just fitness and discipline and many different things that we can get into as the podcast progresses. But yeah, I'm no stranger to addiction. And again, I've slipped up enough times that I've gotten better over time.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
over
know,
the
like
last, few years since we've reconnected, like definitely. I mean, you've had your slip ups, but like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and you keep making progress, like it's there, it shows. So yeah.
yeah, I've been used my social media to really inspire other people before my laptop. I love it. We're doing it ugly, like before my laptop breaks down here.
Yeah. Not sure how long this is going, but we could just wrap things up
Yeah, we can
here.
wrap it up. There's
Yeah.
lots to get into. There I am.
Mm.
Yeah, anyway, so that's what it is. We're just gonna keep pushing through. We're gonna put out episodes. We're just gonna keep building the brand in real time. And the goal is to look back in 2 years on this episode and be like, whoa, look how far we've come. Do it ugly, okay? Just do something.
Yeah.
If you fuck up and you slip up and you relapse or you go back to the girlfriend, whatever happens, just don't beat yourself up too much. Just get back at it, okay? You got to slay the day. You got to try to keep the PMA, the positive mental attitude. It's obviously very hard. Most people that try to keep a positive mental attitude, in this day and age are going to be challenged, man. People are always challenging me, especially when I freak out about the Canucks losing. They're like, what happened to the positive attitude? Well, I'm like, fuck, they fucking gave away fucking 2 shorthanded goals. Like, let's talk about that. All right, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess leave a like and a comment. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, leave a like. Oh, yeah, we want to, and that's another note you made. Yeah, we want to know about your recovery journey. Okay, this isn't about
Mm.
me or Jaimen. We're going to share our stories. We're going to have guests. We're going to talk about subjects, but we want to know, what does your recovery look like? How much sober time do you have? What did you do to get sober? What are you using? I don't want to shit on the AA community. I still use it. I still go. It's like I just use lots of different things and make them all my own. And we can talk about that. We can talk about the people that are like, well, AA is the only way. Okay, well, tell me why you think that is. Or I never used AA and I use this. Let's get into that. Everyone's recovery journey is different, and we want to have guests on here to talk about that and argue their points of view. I want to hear about it. I'm going to learn. We're going to learn about it, and
Yeah.
we're going to hear, and let's make it a goal to try to get Jaimen to quit smoking.
We'll work on it. As the prices rise, that helps. But yeah, fucking A.
Okay, man.
Cheers.
Here we go. Don't forget, grind the blade, catch the fire, slay the day, and keep the PFAO.